Hello. I'm just back watching Wonka. Back from watching Wonka. And right off, I can say this is a movie definitely worth checking out. When they first announced Timothy Chalamet to be playing this character, it's a very iconic character, I was maybe a little bit unsure. I traditionally know him to play very dark, arrogant characters. And here, he surprised me a little bit because when I first started, or when the movie started, rather, um, I was wondering where he was going to take the character. Surprisingly, he's a lot more bubblier in this film, and I wondered if you could convince me that he was, in fact, Willy Wonka, and not just Timothy Chalamet dressed as Willy Wonka. And I'm happy to say he did. I'm happy to say he did a great job. He definitely convinced me that he was Willy Wonka. He made it his own. Um, now, I grew up with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We read this story at school. I remember I reread it when I was about 14, and then I think I never saw the Gene Wilder film, so don't hate me for that. I know everybody says, "How could you have not seen that? You're a movie buff. How could you have not seen that?" I don't know, just one of those things. So I've never seen it, but I did see the Tim Burton one with Johnny Depp, which I think is, it's a decent movie. It's a fine movie. I've seen it a few times. Um, I don't sing it praises or anything. It's a decent attempt, is all I could say. I think this one borrows a lot more from the Gene Wilder one. Um, I don't even know who directed that, to be honest. But in this one, this is directed by Paul King, who directed the Paddington films, which I think both are absolutely amazing. And in this one, while I'd like to say it's amazing, I think it probably falls a little bit short on that respect, but otherwise, I was very, very surprised. I was invested in the movie right from the very beginning. I didn't even know it was going to be a musical until recently. And I didn't go into the movie with that sort of thing in my mind that this is going to be a musical. I kind of remembered once they started the whole first song that, oh, yeah, it's a musical. You know, none of the songs. I think most of the songs sound like they could have potential to be a classic. This movie maybe reminded me of something like Mary Poppins, you know, um, which could have been uh, a classic, which is a classic, and I don't know if it will be another Mary Poppins, but it has that potential really. It feels, I think, to me probably the closest uh, in comparison, I would say. Very good movie. Very surprised at how well this musical is actually made, and I think Annie's another one we can compare it to in terms of the kind of musical it is. The most important aspect for me is, I mean, apart from the direction, which again is fantastic by Paul King, is the performances. And I think the casting in this movie is absolutely spot on. I think everybody does a brilliant job. It's like they were born to play these characters. Really, really good. Timothy Chalamet, I already said, surprised me. Olivia Colman, I mean, that woman is just, she can act. And she's given a role, she's unrecognizable almost, in a very, very nice, meaty role. Um, Supporting cast are great. The girl who plays Noodle, I don't really know her name at the moment, was really, really good. She was very good in her role. A lot of people said she stole the film or stole the show. I didn't think so. I thought she had a nice balance with Timothy Chalamet. Hugh Grant, you know. Isn't given much, to be honest. But it's nice to see him in that role, and I really am uh, very happy to see him in this phase of his career. You know, I think he's really funny. And finally, Rowan Atkinson. Well, Rowan Atkinson is my favorite comedian, and every time he's in something, I'm very, very happy. But I've always kind of learned that whenever he's in a movie, he's usually given a very small role where the marketing of him being in the film is a lot more than his role in the film. And the biggest example of that is Love Actually, where he's on the poster with Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson, Colin Firth, Emma Thompson, you name it, Bill Nye, and Rowan Atkinson. And each one of those actors is given a proper role and a story. But he is given like a very small, minor comic relief kind of role. And that's it. And yet he's on the poster and he's in the marketing, and he's there for like what, 5 minutes. In this one, I was a bit apprehensive of that. I thought, are we really gonna get Rowan Atkinson, or is it just Rowan Atkinson doing a few lines? And even though it's not as bad as Love Actually in terms of his role in Love Actually is funny, but I just felt like they over marketed the fact that Rowan Atkinson's in it. And here Rowan Atkinson's in it longer than he was in Love Actually. His role is funny, but there's not really much for him. He doesn't, I mean, his character isn't really that well developed or that strong, and I was a bit disappointed with that. He's funny, as he usually is, but again, it wasn't very funny. And yeah, that's about it. So overall, I think the movie's great, and I think I'm glad they made this into a musical, because they don't do that anymore. And yeah, go check it out. This is a good movie.